Happy Monday, knitters. I'm Louise from Wildflower Wool, and welcome back to my channel. It is another episode of New Start Monday Knits. I've got 2 new starts to show you, and I have an update on what I was working on last week. I feel like I didn't get quite as much done this week. The weather was fantastic, and I did a lot of gardening, which seriously cut into my knitting time. But let me show you what I've got done. Let's start, as always, with dishcloths. I think this was the one that I started. I think this was my new start that I showed you on last week's video. It is just oddballs that I have just alternated every other row. The pattern is super simple diamond dishcloth. I used Bernat Handicrafter cotton and finished up the yellow and the green. I think actually it should be going this way. So I finished up this yellow. Actually, this yellow is Bernat Handicrafter. Can't remember what the colorway was. The green was Bernat Handicrafter Sage, and these colors up here, these were just oddballs. I'm pretty sure still Bernat Handicrafter, but I don't know what the names were of the colorways. But I really, really like how the colors work together. So this is kind of a scrappy dishcloth, scrappy striped dishcloth. Anyways, I liked it so well that I carried on and I did another one. So this was just the last little bit of this one, that green, yellow, blue. Finished off some more yellow. Lime green, I think I might have a little lime green left. And just finished it off with this, just a beige with just a little fleck in there. And again, I'm pretty sure all of this is Bernat Handicrafter. Another one done. So 2 dishcloths. You would think I would stop there. No, I did not. I did one more. Maybe this is why if I had stopped knitting dishcloths, I would have gotten a little more work done on some of my other projects. But you know what? This was 2 balls of, again, Bernat Handicrafter. They were very similar. The one ball, though, was just orange and yellow and pink. The other ball was orange, yellow, and the white and the green. So really, when you look at it, it looks like it could all just be one ball. But I think it's pretty fun to look at it and see everywhere the white is, that was the extra ball, and the green was just from intermixing those two little part balls. And they are almost done. All of these, I'm not sure about the lime green. I think I have some of that left, but the others, all of the rest of these colors, they are done. These 2 balls, I've got teeny tiny little bits left of those. So I'm going to work those into a dishcloth probably this week and get that used up. So 3 more dishcloths. I counted and I am over 30. So this might put me at 33, 34, something like that. But I'm over 30, which is pretty good, which means I'm over halfway. I wanted to get at least 52 done. And okay, I don't want to jinx myself, but I am well on my way to getting 52 dishcloths done this year, and possibly more, and maybe using up all my cotton. Okay, I worked on my scarf. The scarf, I asked for input from everybody last week. Remember my colorwork scarf that I had finished? The ends were rolled on it, and I was debating, do I leave them rolled? Do I sew it? Do I put a fringe on it? The comments that everybody left me were overwhelming in favor of putting on a fringe. There were some really good comments. A couple people suggested sewing the ends together and making it like an infinity scarf, which I had really never thought about that. A couple people said leave the ends open because then they can be like a hand warmer. You can just put your hands in. I thought that is actually a pretty good idea too. A couple people mentioned, actually one, Donna Jean, I think this one was, mentioned about leaving an open spot that you could put snacks in if you're going out for a walk. Another ingenious idea. But Like I said, most people were on the side of putting a fringe on it. So that is what I did. So this definitely needs to have a soak and get all the kinks out of that yarn. Isn't it amazing how kinky it looks just from coming out of the ball? As opposed to once we knit it up, it looks nice and flat, but it's really pretty wavy here. Anyways, I put a fringe on both ends and I really like it. I was still really unsure up until I started doing this. I don't know, for some reason I couldn't really envision how I wanted this to look. But once I put the fringe on it, I think I really, really like it. And I like the purple because that was another question I was debating on. Multicolored fringe, solid color fringe. And yeah, I went with the solid purple because I really wanted it to bring out the purple in the scarf. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with it. It didn't take long to do the fringe. I cut, what did I do? I cut 14-inch pieces. I doubled them up, used a crochet hook, and I think I've got 16 individual fringes on here, on each end. So it didn't take very long. Did it while I was watching another episode of Grey's Anatomy. And it's done. So it'll just need a good block, get those tails of the fringe nice and straight and blocked out, and then I think it'll make a great gift. What else did I work on? Let me show you this. Double knitting has seemed to taken over my week. This is the bubble scarf, even though there are no bubbles on it yet, but I'm very, very close. This is where my stitch marker was last week when we chatted. I just had this little bit done last week. So I've doubled, a little bit more than doubled my progress on this scarf. And as you can see, I've just started, I got all the striped pattern done, and now I've worked a few rows of solid stitches, and bubbles are coming up next. I was really hoping I would have at least the start of a bubble to show you, but I just got too tired. And we all know you should never knit when you're tired, and definitely, at least for me, I should definitely not double knit when I'm tired, because that is just a recipe for disaster. So as you can see, this is the orange side with blue stripes, and turn it around and like magic, we've got a blue side with orange stripes. Did I say that right? Orange with blue, blue with orange. So on this side, I will have orange bubbles. And then on this side, it's the orange side, I'll have blue bubbles. And the fun of this pattern, it's the Lucy Neat Bee pattern that I'm knitting. And she just gives you the chart for 3 different sized circles. And then you can just intermix them wherever you want in the pattern. So I'm just going to, I don't even really know, I haven't even really given it much thought where my first bubble will be, if it will be on the side, if I'll do half of one, then start another one in the center, and maybe one over here. I really don't know. I'm just really going to totally wing it because I think it'll look fun however it's done. So this is 2 balls of Patton's Classic Wool, and my needle size, oh, it's going to tell me. I was going to say I've forgotten already. It's a 4mm is what I'm using with sock weight yarn. And I'm liking how it's looking. So this project's coming along good. So fingers crossed, hopefully next week I'll have some bubbles to show you. And I know Mary is knitting this project as well, and she has bubbles in hers. And Amanda started one as well because she saw Mary's, and I think when she saw those bubbles, she was pretty inspired. So I know she's cast on, and she's just about ready to start her bubbles too. So if you're a member of the Fiber Friends Friday Night Knitting group, you'll be able to see Mary and I's and Amanda's projects, and you'll be able to, it'll be fun to see, to compare them, because they're all going to be different colors. So it'll be fun to see everybody's project. I had a finish this week. My other is double knitting, because I know, because that's what I seem to have done pretty much all of this week. My pot holder, it's finished. Look at that, flip it over. Ta-da. I have to say, I love this. I was fully expecting that I would have to fiddle around with this chart pattern a little bit, but you know what? It worked out nice. I'm happy with the size. I think I might go down a needle size. I'm going to knit this again because I do want to make a few more pot holders. And I think I'll knit the next one a size smaller. If you have subscribed to this channel, you probably will have gotten an email notice that I posted a video yesterday. It was a how-to video for double knitting because we are doing a double knitting cal over the summer. It started now and we're going to the middle of August. So there's lots of time if you want to join in anytime over the summer. So I am using this is going to be part of my how-to videos because there's just some things in here that I'm going to point out, some things to do right and things to avoid doing. So you'll see this pop up in some future videos as well, but I couldn't resist finishing it. So it'll just be there for demonstration purposes from now on until I knit some more. What else? Oh, last week we also talked about this dishcloth. So remember this dishcloth? It is called Tunnel Lace. And I really liked this pattern. I had a couple requests for the pattern, so I will type it and put it in the comment box down below. It's a 4-row pattern. It is lace. It has some double yarn overs, and the pattern called for purl 3 together. So if you see, can you see right where the pattern, you can see, can you see? I can see because I know what I'm looking for right there. You can see that's where the purl 3 togethers are, and that's how the stitch is leaning there. And I had mentioned that doing those purl 3 togethers I think it was hurting my finger because I really had to get that needle in there, and doing purl 3 togethers has never been one of my favorite things. Having a super sharp needle helps get your needle in through all the 3 of those stitches. And I had a few comments about people saying, well, could you do a different decrease so you don't have to fiddle with the purl 3 togethers, but you get the same look? And I think one of the comments had said about doing like a center double decrease like you do with the mitered square. And I was thinking, well, if we did that, we would have a straight up and down decrease. And then Rick Rack left a comment and said, well, hey, why don't you just do a slip 1, purl 2 together, pass the slip stitch over? Won't that give you the same look? And it most certainly does. So I did up another little swatch here in the same lace pattern. And let's see if I can hold this. So I did the first here. Okay, let me look at this the right way here. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So here and here I did 2 pattern repeats the way the pattern called for with purl 3 togethers. And see how our decrease is leaning. The one right up here against the needle, I just did the slip 1, purl 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, and it looks exactly the same without the fiddling of getting the needle through all 3 stitches. So that is a good option for anybody who wants to knit this pattern. You can decide which decrease works best for you. And yeah, I don't know. I think I might do the slip, purl 2 together, pass it over, because I'm working a shawl in this same stitch pattern that I did not even get to after we visited last week. I didn't even pick up the needle on that project, so I've really got to work get some time in on that this week for sure. So I think I'm going to try this new decrease. So thank you so much, because my mind didn't even go there to think about switching up those decreases, which makes perfect sense, because if you're not liking something, you should try an alternative, and it looks exactly the same. My finger will thank me, because after doing a big project, I'm sure my finger is going to be, I'm going to have an indent. I'll have to be like, felt like I need to wear a thimble or something to get, anyways, this decrease will fix that problem. So thank you very, very much for all your ideas, everybody. Okay, do you want to see my 2 patterns that I'm casting on for this week? One, let's see, we'll start with the dishcloth. So this is my dishcloth knitting bag this week. I love this bag. This was a gift, and I love it. Yellow with birds on it and little flowers. Perfect. I love it. Sweet. And it's the perfect size for holding my dishcloth yarn. So what do I have in here? I just have some part balls in here. There's, oh, here, I can show you now. So this is what I had left over. Those 2 orange colored variegated that I showed you in the dishcloth. This is them right here. So see, this is just the 3 colored one, and this is the one that has the white and green. So close to being finished. So I'm hoping I'm just going to work those in. And I had so much fun just doing those striped dishcloths. I like seeing how the colors work together and the color combinations just by alternating every other row. So we'll see what I come up with. This looks like a little bit of Christmas. I don't know if there's any green in here, but definitely a red and a beige. And there's, oh, that's that other little bit with that fleck that I finished off the other dishcloth with. So see, there really is just these little teeny weeny bits that I want to use, because I love the feeling of using up every tiny little scrap instead of just throwing it away. I like the fact that I can get even a couple of rows out of it into something that is going to be usable. So this is what I'm working on right now. This is what I cast on. That little bit with the speckle and this blue variegated. And look how it's knitting up in a blue stripe. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to keep going as long as this blue will last. And then I'm not sure what I will put in. That's the ball I'm working on. Maybe that little bit with the Christmas. It'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise to me. I don't even know which balls I'm going to use yet. It will, I don't know, whatever kind of mood I'm in, whatever I think, whatever ball I grab, I'm not sure how I'll decide. But I really like this. It reminds me of the beach. Looks like a perfect summer knit. So, oh, and look at my needles. I think this is the payback I get. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I looked at my needles and was totally surprised when I realized that my needles were not matching in size. This dark one is a quarter of a millimeter bigger than this. This is a 3.5. This ended up being a 3.75. And as I was working on one of the dishcloths, the end just popped off. So I'm going to hopefully find it on the floor. I'm hoping it didn't fall down between the cushions on the reclining chair. I'm hoping I can find it, and then I will try to glue it back on. But anyways, my poor mismatched needles are even in worse shape now. And I figured, oh, this is just fate telling me that I shouldn't have been complaining about the fact that they were different needle sizes, because now it's gotten rid of the whole end that tells me what needle size it is. So now I really have no idea what it is. Anyways, maybe I just need to get new needles for my dishcloth. Maybe that's what the universe is telling me. Get an actual matched set. Because even though I know that these are not the right size, did I change? Did I go try to find another 3.5 because that's what I was wanting to use? No, I just carried on. Anyways, maybe at some point when I come across another 3.5 millimeter, I will actually put it in my dishcloth knitting bag and work with a matched set. But you know what? I'm happy with the results with the 2 different sizes. So, you know, Why fix what is not broken, right? Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself that my needle will break now. That is always a problem with wooden needles. Sometimes I'm afraid if I accidentally set my work down and then come back and sit on it, that could cause a broken needle. But let's hope. Let's just like pretend I did not just put that out there. Okay, second new start for this week. I almost feel like this is, well, I shouldn't say cheating, but it is a teeny tiny project. Well, teeny tiny. It's a coaster, but that still counts, right? It's a cast on, it's a new project, and I'm really quite excited about this. I posted a picture of this yarn this morning on Instagram, and I love it because it is 2 balls. Oops, I just dropped one. It is 2 balls, 2-part balls of Lopi. And I'm going to get this, I'm really hoping to get this finished. The darker, hold on, I'm going to have to reach down. I have a little bit more of this, but look at these 2 colors. And these are not my colors at all. Pink and a red. These would typically be the absolute last colors that I would ever be knitting with. But I don't know, they kind of spoke to me, and they also match flowers that are blooming in my garden right now. Almost exactly. So that picture is up on Instagram if you want to see the flowers and the yarn, which I think is pretty exciting to be able to match my yarn to my flowers. So this is going to be a double knit dishcloth. There's the light pink side, and I turn it around, and there is the dark, I don't even know, what did I call this color? Raspberry? Burgundy? Something. And actually, I do have the ball band for the dark color, the dark burgundy. We'll call it burgundy because I'm not a big red fan, so we'll call it burgundy instead. Anyways, there we go. Cast on. I have a different flower pattern that I'm going to do. I'm going to knit the daisy again, but that pattern is too big, and I didn't want to fuss with trying to shrink it down with just a smaller amount of stitches. So I've found a different flower chart that I'm going to work on this little coaster. And who knows, I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll have some yarn left over. I don't know though if I'll have enough of this to do 2 coasters. That would be ideal. So that is going to be my new project. My new non-dishcloth project is hopefully getting a pair of coasters out of this that's going to have a cute little flower on it. So I talked about posting a video yesterday, a double knitting video. I'm going to do a series of how to double knit videos. So there's one up on my channel right now about doing the 2-color cast on. There's going to be another one in the next couple of days before the weekend for sure that is going to talk about edge stitches again and how to actually work the knits and purls in the body of your project. So stay tuned for that if you're at all interested in double knitting. If you haven't heard of double knitting before, you might just want to watch it just out of curiosity, just to see what it is, because it is pretty fun. And that is what I'm working on. So, and I'm really hoping, I didn't even pick up my sweater this week, which is something I'm really kind of disappointed about because I was really excited and I was really hoping to have gotten a lot done on it this week, and then I didn't even pick it up once. But most of my gardening is done now, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to sit with my knitting in the garden and just enjoy the nice weather and get lots of knitting done. So I really want to get sweater knitting done, the shawl, this and this and this and this. My projects are stacking up, so I'm hoping that I get lots of knitting time. So I hope that you're going to have lots of knitting time too. I hope you've had a great Monday. I hope you've started the week off on a fantastic note, and it just keeps getting better as the week goes on. So let me Let me know what you're working on. Leave me a comment down below. And thanks to everybody who has subscribed to this channel over this last couple of weeks. Our little community here is growing and I love chatting with everybody. So have a fantastic week and I will see you all on Monday. Bye for now. Have a great week.